So this is my third and final interview, and the person I am interviewing is Brother Chad Erickson. He is the associate pastor of First Apostolic Church of Maryville, and also of First Apostolic Church of Sevierville. And so this is really the daughter work or the church plant that he has been heavily involved in. And not only is he have a heart for home missions, he also has a heart for foreign missions. He is the ALJC African Regional Director, and he travels to Africa quite often, seeing some works there. And he is a brilliant mind, and he's my brother-in-law too, so it's pretty special. Yeah, the most important thing. So we'll get right into the questions. The first question is, what are the common challenges in growing new members in the formation stages of the church plant?
As you've said, Nolan, we've got a second campus that we have just about 2 months ago began to work with. It was a church that was already had been formed and for a few years, but still in the smaller stages. And so it's quite a different contrast between, of course, First Apostolic Church of Maryville, which is run well over 500 in attendance and pretty much all the services, to under 100 in service in Sevierville. There's a lot of differences. And for the first question, one of the common challenges is obviously anybody that is into a new church, into a small church, new church plant, is usually a person who enjoys one-on-one relationships. As a matter of fact, Nolan and I just had lunch with one of the gentlemen that is going to the church plant there in Sevierville, and he just called, wanted to eat lunch, which is not that we don't eat lunch with people from our Maryville campus. However, when you go to a larger campus, you just kind of understand that the pastoral staff is not available at all times, especially like after church on Sunday or Wednesday. Many times when we've had 3 services in a Sunday, chances are we're not going to go fellowship after Sunday night church, just for obvious reasons. So one of the common challenges is realizing the need that people have in a smaller church of relationship. In our larger church, we have all kinds of small groups. There's events that they can be a part of through the school, through the youth group, through different groups where in a new church plant, I think one of the greatest challenges in bringing new members and getting them solidified in the church is personal time for the pastor and the pastoral staff.
Very true.
And even so, we've had people talk about, maybe we'll just start going to the larger campus. The campuses are about 45 minutes apart from one another. So, we live in between them. Maybe we'll just start going to the large campus. And that's one thing that I really talk to each one about. I say, listen, you're used to coming out to eat with the pastoral staff every service after service, going out to eat. That one-on-one relationship is not going to be there in that way. So as a pastor, I've had to kind of rethink that sometime I'm used to giving my family. Now all of a sudden we have to reposition that time and give it to them as a young family, because that's what they are. They're a young family that needs that personal relationship.
Very good. Very good. The second question is, what are the best practices that have been successful in empowering new believers for missional operation in your respective community?
Mission operation, which I think we would consider outreach, another word of outreach, and empowering new believers. This is kind of a tricky question. Obviously with outreach, the go-to outreaches are sending out mailers, which we obviously do, the door hangers, knocking doors. But really what we try to really push with our new members and members who have been in church for years, we push one-on-one Bible studies. We push, we promote as much as possible. You're not going to win a soul any easier than somebody that you know well, that you work with every day, that you go to school with, Project 7, all these different outreaches and these different community mission opportunities. To me, we can go to the soup kitchen. We've done all that. We've helped the soup kitchen. We've gone to these different nonprofit places. But the greatest missions opportunity and operation would be just to get relationships in the community and bring them to church. Because really on a small scale, and like in Sevierville, you're not bringing them to a huge church with a huge choir and with multiple programs. You're getting them like with question one, you're trying to get them to understand this is going to be a relationship thing. We're going to bring you in, and this is going to be your family. This is not just somewhere you go and attend for an hour a week like most churches are. We're your family. We're who you know, who you hang out with, who you can lean upon. So as far as empower new believers, we want to empower them with the ability to teach Bible studies, one-on-one Bible studies.
That's very interesting because I interviewed, of course, this interview here, and then I interviewed both Tony and then my father, Pastor Carpenter, and they all three had said Bible studies, and I know from being with them that they are all three Bible study teachers. And some of the best, and I know Brother Erickson's the same way, but my father tells me all the time some of the best personal fulfillment that he feels is not when he maybe gets done preaching or something, but the best feeling that he has in his ministry is getting done with a Bible study or seeing someone that he's personally poured into and, seeing them go down the water and the things of that salvation. So
Absolutely.
The third question, has your plan, and I know the answer to this, just because I know how successful you are in your ministry and what you've done, has your plan to disciple new believers been effective? And please describe why it has been effective.
And of course, it's all how you view effective. Discipling people, it's such a process. It's not just a 12-week Bible study. It's not just obviously inviting them to church and getting them to where they start attending church regularly. It's a lifetime. Matter of fact, you talk about the feeling of seeing somebody that you give a Bible study to, you see as they come out of the water, or as they get the Holy Ghost in the altar. The same feeling is reversed when you put so much time into somebody. And 3 years later, after you think that they're discipled and developed, and all of a sudden they start missing church, and you're like, what? Or you get an attitude, or whatever it is. You start seeing them slipping away. So as far as successful, you really don't know for years if you've really truly been successful at discipling. But what we have, one of our main ways that we disciple, of course, when you're an apostolic church disciples so much differently than a denominational church disciples.
Right.
A denominational church, they're mainly they're trying to get you into their programs and get you to be faithful in attendance and giving, what have you. Where when we disciple, we're wanting you to understand the world and the separation from the world, and that we don't look the same, we don't act the same, that our lifestyle, we have the fruit of the Spirit growing within us. And so one of the greatest things we have done is we have a church sanctuary choir, and that sanctuary choir is such a calling card to new believers. Our music department is such a calling card. Even our ministries, all our ministries are a great calling card to where people want to get involved. And we have a ministry handbook that they have to read. Okay. They have to sign. And when they read this handbook, they see, of course, anybody that comes to an apostolic church already understands there's a difference. Yeah. There's nothing we have to hide. It's not something like, ooh, we got to be careful. Let them know that we wear certain things or don't do certain things. They already see it. The first day they come to our church, they realize there's a difference. They're not blind. They're intelligent enough to pick that up. So with our handbook, it just explains why we do it, what we expect, and many times people will line up to holiness standards and separation. Even before they fully understand why, they will line up to that. And we've seen where even getting them in the choir has caused people for a year or two to live an apostolic lifestyle and not even fully understand it. But then we have a great discipleship program we call Anchor Points, that we put them in this discipleship program, and then that explains to them in depth why we do what we do, and then stuff that they're already doing, they're like, oh, that makes sense. They can answer questions. Their family, you got family members who are asking questions. So obviously, discipling people takes time. It's nothing that you can tell overnight. However, now that I've been here in Maryville for almost 19 years now, people that I've personally given Bible studies to and personally worked within church and discipled in the church, I'm seeing them just bearing fruit, and it's the most beautiful thing. And mainly it is because we got them involved in something, and of course then discipled them through it.
So giving them some type of responsibility.
Sure, yeah, to be accountable for.
Very good. Very good. Final question is, what additional tools could be helpful to new churches in reaching, developing, and empowering new believers for missions work in the respective community?
Of course, we're talking about, again, new churches with new churches are going to have new believers that may not be, some things that they might not be able to take part in. But what we have found, I know in Maryville with our new believers, in a community-driven atmosphere, is we do a Christmas parade float for a Christmas parade every year. This is an opportunity where you may not understand apostolic 100%, yet you can be a part of building the float, getting a part of it, getting the community, getting the church name out. We have Fall Festival where we have thousands of people that come on the property. A lot of people have trunk or treats where it's all about getting people to realize that the more that we can get our name in the community, the church name into the community. We have a summer concert. We do downtown in the park. We're having one this year, a summer concert where it's all about getting our people, even new believers, into the community just to be talking about the church. Because the more, even at work, at school, if they're talking about the church and things we're doing, activities we're doing, and inviting people all the time, we're always giving them ways, reasons to invite their friends, invite people from work. To me, that's the best way to get them involved in the community, get them out of our four walls to attract people to church.
That's very good, and that's kind of we had to write a paper for our topics that we chosen in this project, and that's kind of what I talked about, is making the church a centerpiece for the community. So trying to get people on the campus as much as you can.
Yes.
But I appreciate, Brother Erickson, your time today, and I appreciate you letting me pick your brain.
Sorry.
And I hope this does something for you. I hope this gives you some information. I look forward to your comments, and I look forward to seeing your guys' interview. And that's all we have for today. So God bless.